What we're going to talk about today, this is the second Business Owners Club that we've run, and it's designed to make business owner smarter. Some of my clients in the room here, and I'll be referring to some of them during this short presentation. And what we want to basically talk about is sponsors, Galvin's. Galvin's is obviously sponsoring this thing here. So if you need to talk about anything to do with tools, go and see Byron down the back. That's him with the glasses on the head. Please go and see him because he's lonely. Nobody else is talking to him. Danielle went up and talked to him because nobody else would. Please go and talk to him. And that's me. And I run a company called The Business Doctor, for those that are interested. And what we are talking about now is how much do your employees need to make you. So the reason why you have employees, this is a technical reason, so some of you might get it, some of you will look for something more intelligent, but it's not. There's three reasons why you employ someone. So this will be the conversation that I would have to Grant if he became my apprentice or a tradesman or something like that. Grant, thanks very much for joining our company. I just wanted to go through this welcoming process and tell you the three reasons why you work here. So number one is to do shit that I can't do. Number two is to do shit that I don't want to do. And number three... Shit I also don't want to do. There isn't a third reason. I can't think of a third reason. So the reason why you're here is not because I want to pay you and give you a job. I want you to leverage what I'm doing inside my company to make me money. Now in the meantime, I need to make sure that I'm paying you really well so you don't get stolen away by somebody else. And I want to give you not just a job, I want to give you a career. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Are you happy with that? Yes. Welcome aboard. Is that really why you have staff? Pretty much, to give you leverage, to make you money? Or do you just like employing people because you want to spend $1,000 or $2,000 a week? You employ staff to make you money. The question I come across as a business coach and also when I'm talking to accountants is how do business owners figure out how much to pay their staff? So the example we've got on the board here is to give you some ideas about how you need to price up what you're doing in your business and what you're doing with your staff and what you're doing with your pricing. So pricing becomes very important. So in this example here, we've got, this is like a Mercedes badge. Now, for those of you that put your business card into the box, you will be sent a copy of this presentation because I don't expect you to remember it. There's some technical stuff here and it will just be helpful to you if you have something to take away with you and have a look at tomorrow and the day after or sometime in the future when you're interested in doing this. So here we've got a thing called wages. The reason why we have the staff is they want to get paid, so we need to pay them. So in this example here, I'm going to pay this employee $80,000 wages. Now we have a rule in business which the accountants, Stuart and Grant, will be able to tell you this right off the bat. Now if your accountant is not talking to you about this sort of stuff, change your bloody accountant. You want an accountant that's going to be pretty much in your face. They've got to be able to tell you the stuff that you don't know. For any sparkies in the room or plumbers in the room or any of the trades in the room, I don't work on my own car, I don't do my own electrical work because I'm not trained and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So if you're not trained in accounting, unfortunately accounting is the language of business. If you want to be in business, you have to understand it. If you don't understand it now, get with some guys that can teach you this stuff, but they've got to be proactive in their teaching. They've got to be bordering on aggressive to get it through to you that this is the stuff you must make money with. The Small Business Development Corporation, also the tax office, have got some metrics or some benchmarks that they have. Off the top of your head, Grant, what's the survival rate of a business over 1 to 5 years?
Most businesses struggle to survive more than 5, so it's about 80% wouldn't.
So 80% of all new businesses fail. Now the interesting thing is, if I was to walk around the room here and ask each of you, would the losers go and stand over this side of the room? I don't think anyone would be too pleased to do that. But the reality is that 80% of all the small businesses do go broke. They don't make money. What typically in your experience is the reason why they don't make money?
Well, they run out of cash because they're not charging enough for their services properly.
So they run out of cash, because they're not charging enough. That's what this is about. So listen up, and I hope it makes sense to you. So we've got $80,000 there. Now, what we do in this example here, this is going to be applying a 3 times rule. So whatever our wages cost are, we multiply that by 3. So another $80,000 goes towards overheads. What's in your overheads?
Accounting fees, marketing, rent, insurance, stationery, admin wages.
Okay. So one of the things that you can do is, if you want to, you can choose to pay your accountant more money. That will make him happy, but it won't make you any more money, generally. What will make you money? Getting more fee earners, putting more tradies on. The more fee earners you've got, the more leverage you've got in your business. The more staff you have, so long as they're not admin or secretaries or admin staff or accounts people, anyone that's employing accounts staff, they are an expense. And you can only have those people on board after you've been going a while and you've got more fee earners, so that you can carry that cost. And I'll show you that in a second. So now, with these here, wages and overheads, there's only one big thing that I'm missing out on, which is profit. Now, if you're going to be doing something, when you've got a business, you want it to return a profit. If it doesn't return a profit, what the hell are you doing? You're in business to make money, not to give your darling employees a job. And I can now just feel it. Some of the employers in the room have got employees in the room, and you go, shit. But it's true. It's true. You look at the employees. If you were to go and invest in an investment property, you expect the investment property to make money. If you're going to put money into the share market, you expect it to return $1. And this is no different for a business owner. You buy or start your business to make a profit. Profit's not a dirty word. And the more that you make in profit, the more that you can share with your employees, because in this marketplace now, you need to be paying your employees well. Because if you don't love your employees, somebody else might. One of my other businesses is an employment agency, and that's got a list a mile long of vacancies waiting to be filled. We can't get staff fast enough. So if you've got staff, hold on to them, treat them really well, make sure you respect them and treat them with dignity, and pay them well. You can't pay them well if you're not making enough money. This is how you make money. So what we do now, we take this $80,000, times it by 3. Now, some businesses, you can times it by 4. Labouring businesses, if you've got a straight labour business, I've got one of my clients and he's getting 4.5 times or 5 times his cost. So he's paying somebody 50 grand a year, roughly 50 grand a year, times that by 4 is equal to 200 grand. So he's paying 50 grand, he's making 200 grand, he's making 3 times his profit. Then that's the type of thing you want to be doing. Now, as you grow your business, you're going to have expenses coming out of that, which is your overheads. And for all of you tradies that are in the room, that means a vehicle. What's a reasonable priced vehicle going to cost you for a ute or a van? 60 grand? Too expensive, make it 30 and I'm happy. Julian? Sorry? What's that?
I paid 60 grand for one.
Did you?
Fucking right there.
Julian, you wanted to buy a new van. How much were you allowed to spend?
In a new one?
No, on the one we bought, one you bought.
For close to 30 grand?
Yeah, and I was whinging and bitching at that expense. Vehicles don't make you money, but you need them. Sorry?
Cheap vehicles can...
Absolutely, shitty vehicles always can. So you want to make sure you're buying something that's fit for purpose. Being in a tradie's job, you have to have your vehicle. And as a side note, for those mechanics that are in the room, if they want to do something neat and have a point of difference, they need to be servicing your vehicle either after hours or providing you with a loan vehicle. The average tradie's vehicle, if you've got a vehicle on the road, that vehicle needs to be generating at least $1,000 a day. plus. If it's not covering $1,000 a day, it's barely covering its cost. That van there, you've got to get your money back within 5 years, less than 5 years. Okay? So what we do now, we take the 3 times rule, multiply the $80,000 by 3, we get up a total of $240,000. So that $240,000 is what we need to recover from that employee. Now, in case you're wondering what that's going to work out to, I'm going to ask my able-bodied assistant. It's either going to be Stuart or Grant. Grant's just about to put something in his mouth. I'm going to read that formula out to you. I want you to write on the board. You do that? Okay. So this is how we work this out. Even you can do it. There's a pen behind the thing. Just down behind there. Follow the instructions. So $240,000 to the left. It's my able-bodied assistant. Sexy. So $240,000. We're going to divide that by the number of weeks that they work during the year. How many weeks does an employee work? Any advance? How many employees in the room? Any employees? Your employee? How many, if you work for a year, how many weeks are you working? Is it 52?
Yeah, it's 52.
Right. That's how many they get paid. But the one that somebody set up here before, 45, 46. So if you divide that by 46 weeks, because we get 4 weeks annual leave, we get 2 weeks public holidays, which is 10 days, and we also get 10 days sick pay, which is another 2 weeks. Now, you don't bank on spending the 2 weeks all the time, but you can guarantee that even with COVID and all that sort of stuff, the employees are going to take some time off sick. So you've got to make all of that income and yours in 46 weeks. So 240,000 divided by 46 weeks equals 5,217. 217. Okay, now we're going to divide that. It's not true, it's close enough. Divide it by 40 hours, because that's what they have to do, but they've got to be billing it. So divide that by 40 hours. Equals, I won't ask you to do a mental calculation, it equals 130 bucks an hour.
It's been 10 minutes and I'm going to...
Yep. So this is how we do the numbers when you want to be running a business. Great, give a hand of applause for my able.
I would have just made it what you wanted it to.
So when you go and see an accountant, the accountant, you'll turn around and say, so how much profit did I make? A good accountant will turn around and say, well, how much would you like to make? I can make this whatever you want it to be. Try not to inflate your profits. It's not good. But don't be silly and underplay them. So what we're looking at here is this comes out to an hourly rate of 130 bucks an hour that we need to charge for every employee, for every hour that they're working for 46 weeks. Now there's some other things, this isn't a perfect world, and it's not a perfect world, because out of that 40 hours a week, already that's wrong because the standard award system is 38 hours. So we've got to do 38 hours. When you divide 38 hours by 7 days, you come out with 7.6 hours a day. That 7.6 hours a day still doesn't add up. So out of 38 hours a week, you've got to take at least 20% off for going to the toilet. Now, I don't know if you've got staff like I've had in the past. Some of the employees that I've had before have gone out to a job. I know this doesn't happen to you. They've gone out to a job and then had to go back to the workshop to pick some stuff up like a drill that they didn't take with them. And then they get back on the site and they realise they didn't have all their tools or didn't have some of the materials that they needed. Does that happen to anybody else's business but mine? So this is what you're paying for. This is non-recoverable time because you quoted a job based upon the hours to do the job. So you've got to make sure your employees are on the ball and also that you as a management team are getting the results coming out of your employees. So we're looking at this 130 bucks an hour, and now I've got to find a clicker. When you get to 2 or 3 employees, you start getting really bloody busy. So then what happens? We need to put on staff. So what's the quick concern that you as a business owner would have you've got 1 employee, then you get 2 employees, then you get 3 employees, and you're now spending more time quoting. Then you get 4 employees, and you are now running around like a headless chicken. Is it logical that you now want to put on a full-time person? Does that make sense? Admin person. Yeah. So you need somebody to answer the phones and all that sort of stuff. The average person that's going to charge you for that is going to be $60,000 a year, and you need to add that on to that $130 an hour. You've got to recover it somewhere. The only way you're going to do that is to do smarter marketing. And you'll always find that there's clowns out there that can do a job cheaper than you. Do not enter that competition. You do not want to win the race to the bottom. If you do, you'll be one of those casualties. And these people don't put their hand up and say, I'm the one that's going to go broke. Everybody's saying, I want to make you successful. But if you don't do your numbers, you can't. So as you grow, you've got to put the numbers on board. So there's some strategies about that, and Tony's going to outline that in a second. So everyone gets a number. This is going to be emailed out to you after today, so long as we've got your business card in the box, otherwise you won't get it. So what we've got here is a simple little spreadsheet, and this is about as simple as it gets, but you need to be doing this every week in your business. So Mary's involved in doing the sales. We're expecting to do sales leads. She's supposed to do 36 sales appointments a week, and we've got the results out there on the right-hand side. The initial sales meeting coming from that, we want 12 out of 36. So we want our employees to produce results. Each of you need to be thinking, how do I measure the results for my employees? Is it how many jobs they're doing per day? The revenue they're generating per day? Is it the gross profit they're generating a day? Is it the number of clients they're seeing? What you need to decide for your business, because each business is different. Okay? But that's something that it will help you if you're doing a business. It's just nice and simple on a spreadsheet. If you want to take this a little bit further and make it a little bit sexier and more computer orientated, you can put this into a report like this in Excel. If you want a copy of this, send us an email. I'll send you a template copy of this out. As soon as you start putting these things in here, you can now start measuring who's bringing in what. And in this example here, you can now create some graphs, and this tells you nice simple things. That in this case, we've got emergency call-outs versus the budget. That's the number of emergency call-outs, the dollars that have been generated. That's what we budgeted for it. Now, your budgets are not static throughout the year, they change. Hopefully this is pointing some people in some right directions. Speak to your accountants. Speak to your bookkeepers. You just need to raise the problem with them to say, I want this sort of stuff in my business. They need to you just need to snap your fingers and they should say yes. And if they can't do this quickly and easily, piss them off. Get rid of them. They're not going to help you. You want somebody on your leadership team, on your management team, that's helping you grow their business. And if they're not talking like this to you, consider changing. So once you get that sort of thing, there's another one here, kilometres travelled. And this is one of the big ones here. Is there anyone in this room who's travelling, say, 1,000 kilometres a week? Julian. Ah, Julian's travelling 1,000 kilometres a week. And so are some other people in this room. Here's the reality. Does anybody else travel during the week? Does anybody else? Great, okay. So this is the theory that you now need to put some numbers on it to make sure you bring it home to you. And this is only a concern if you want to make more money. If you don't want to make more money, this is the wrong seminar for you to be sitting in. This is all about making money, putting money in your pocket. So with this 1,000 kilometres a week that he's travelling, I just put some simple numbers up here saying, is travelling time sucking up too much of your time? So in this example here, 1,000 kilometres a week times 100 kilometres an hour, because you're doing 100 kilometres an hour when you travel, and that means that we're travelling at 10 hours a week. Julian, how many times when you're driving around to see your clients are you travelling at 100 kilometres an hour? So what are you normally travelling at? 50 or 60 kilometres an hour. Some of you might be able to do 100. He's having to do 50 to 60 kilometres an hour. So that means he's doing 1,000 times 50 kilometres an hour. So he's blowing 20 hours a week, not billable, not recoverable. And the reason why it's not recoverable is because it might be, where do you live? Mindari, okay. How far south do you go? Rockingham? Yep. Stop it. Oh, you think I'm joking? Julian wishes I was too. As soon as, and this came up just in the casual conversation, I said, look, we're not earning enough. Your business is not turning over enough for what you're doing. You're telling me you're busy all the time. You're telling me you're working 55, 60 hours a week. Where's the money? And he's honestly true. I'm working, Jeff. I'm working all the time. But when you're looking at 20 hours, this is a day and a half of billable time. So the problem with that is that his clients are too far apart. Now that is a marketing problem. So if you're going through the thought process now, well, how do we solve that marketing problem? I'm glad you asked. Because what we've got here is the answer to travelling time, is this thing here on the screen. So this is what Danielle is now passing out around. For those of you that are Trade Heroes members, what this is about, and you'll get one of these each in a second, just to step you through it. Danielle, so I've identified that this is the travelling time that business owners are doing is just a wasted time. We've got to try and cut that down if we can. The best way to do that is to do work that you know you're going to get. Quoting is a waste of time. If you can cut out quoting and just go and do a job, that's much better for you. So if you can get someone that's going to refer you work, you know that it's a serious job, that's the type of job that you want to pick up rather than quoting where they might have 2 or 3 people competing for that quote. Again, you're going to go into that race to the bottom. So what this does here is Danielle has identified amongst her members, and she's got over 200 members, I think 220 or 250, 300. Nearly 300, thank you. These people here are all geographically located close to each other. So when one of the members, like Julian, goes out and sees somebody, they turn around, are you happy with the service? Yes, happy with the service. The refrigerator's fixed or the washing machine's fixed or whatever he's done. He then slaps this on the side of the fridge and turns around and says to the person, these are some people I've worked with in the past. These are people I trust. If you ever have a need for a sparky, a plumber, an electrician or something like that, just look on there. They're local. They'll be here quickly. They won't be coming in from another suburb or, from Fremantle or something like that. So this is something that Danielle has identified. It's going to be available to all the members inside here. Speak to her about this afterwards. And that's the type of thing that can be done. Ta-da! Toolbox time. So Galvin's is a sponsor of this event tonight. We're nearly finished. So what I'd like you to do is go and speak to Byron if you can, if you've got any questions about tools, if you want to know about opening an account with Galvin's. If you want any supplies, they don't just deal in plumbers only, they also deal with other people. And this is the giveaway that Galvin's have done for us tonight. It's a bloody amazing gift. Danielle, how much did you say for this one here?
$1,000.
How much for this one here?
$1,000.
$500 each.
That's your promotion.
That's your promotion. But tonight, for anyone that's going to win these two, this is $2,000. So get your business card into that box. Only one. And just before we take this too much further, Zach, you're not included. So, where's Dan?
Dad duties.
Dad duties, okay. So Dan is the Sparky here. He owns Tradie HQ. We did a workshop here back in December. Julian was here at that. Julian is now one of Dan's latest tenants. He's now renting space here. He's got a workspace here. He's got a place to put his parts, machine, park his utes and vans and all that sort of stuff. If you guys are interested, please speak to Dan about that. next time he comes into work from daddy duties. And now I want to take a bit of time to introduce Tony. And here's where we pass the baton and pass you this little magnety thing. And you can put this on your...
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah.
Married man.
God, got it on film too. Your wife is going to be pissed. Hey everyone, Tony here from Outsourcing Like a Boss. Firstly, thanks Danielle for having me tonight, and Jeff, so good. And thanks Byron for being one of the major sponsors. So fantastic to be here tonight. I'm very privileged to be here. I have been working with Dan from Tradie HQ for a couple of years now. I am the outsourcing queen. So I say that because I have pretty much outsourced my glass and aluminium business I have in Mandurah. So it is a 7-figure company down there, and we converted it from 16 employees locally that had 4 administration staff that weren't earning us $1, and now have a good team with us with mainly tradies and virtual assistants to work with us. So that's my introduction. Just wanted to let you know who I am. So I outsourced to Filipino virtual assistants and have been for a few years now. I discovered who they were because they changed my business dramatically. So our administration staff, they were costing us $60,000 a pop. We had 4 of them, and they nearly drove the company into the ground. At this stage, we pay virtual assistants about $5 an hour to $10 an hour, depending on their level of capabilities. And they must bring in about $5,000 a week on average for their jobs, right? So this is quite impressive, especially for a local glass and aluminium company. Every month they get a report on and how much they've generated for us, and the lowest number I accept is $20,000, and we do reach that. On occasion, they also reach up to $100,000, which we have had in October and November as well, last year. So they make us some good money. In that respect, I also want to educate people about virtual assistants because it's an unknown territory, especially for tradies. They can't let things go. And that's why I've just developed this virtual receptionist pretty much for tradie heroes tonight. I've got a promotion that I'm helping. So nobody likes to answer their phones, do they? I know this because I've called a couple of thousand companies throughout Australia, and out of that, 35% of tradies, so all tradies, I'm not discriminating anybody, 35% did not answer their phone, and out of that 35%, 50% did not call me back, right? So that's some big numbers. What if
Sorry, just 1 second. We pay a lot of money for our leads. We pay a lot of money to get those phone calls, and to lose them by not having that phone answered is actually huge. So
Yeah.
great.
And who wants to answer their phone when you're digging up a pit and you're laying some pipe work and you've got 3 or 4 calls coming through? I don't want to answer a call. I want to get the job done. Yeah, because what Jeff said earlier, it's like you're charging $80,000, or you're being charged $80,000 for your employees, and you want to make money off them, and you're too busy answering the phone. So this is where this comes in. And for everybody here tonight, you can scan the QR code. Please feel free to fill it out. I'm doing a promotion to help answer your phone calls from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, just 3 days for a week, just to trial it out if you need help with your answering phone calls. Usually it's $10 an hour. Literally, that's all it is. So if I can help save you from getting administration staff to pay $10 an hour to answer phone calls, I am your person, and I will be able to help you out with that. Thank you. No worries. Oh, yes, sorry.
Thank you. What's that? Right, so just as we come to the end of it, for those of you that are members, welcome along. For those of you that are not financial members, this is an indication of our pricing. So this is the free account. This is what you get for free. This is all the red stuff, which means bugger all. You get a website listing. But now if you come across here to this column here, you get some more stuff. These things here are included. Now, one of the good things that we're about to launch next month is a thing called benchmarking. And this is where one of the accountants, we work with many professionals. And one of the things about the professionals like accountants, lawyers, marketers, all that sort of stuff. So with the accountants, they're going to give you 15 minutes a month for free. So you ring them up and say, I don't understand at row G on my BAS statement, what goes in there? And they'll tell you the answer for free. So if you want to do that sort of thing, it's free as part of your membership here. Just ring up Danielle and she'll send you on and all that sort of stuff. You speak to any one of 3 or 4 different accountants or 3 or 4 different lawyers or 3 or 4 different marketers or 3 or 4 different whatever the thing is you need. That's the way we can support you guys better to keep you on the job making more money. The latest thing we're doing is launching from next month is a thing called benchmarking. Benchmarking is where for every member that comes on board, and there'll be a flyer going out to all the members saying that we will be giving you the opportunity, or it's part of your membership, it's free, that you will have a benchmark based upon your financials out of your zero, and all the accountant needs to do is just plug into your zero. It takes about 1.5 nanoseconds to download that information, and that will then get downloaded into a benchmark. He disconnects from your zero. He'll be in the room with you, so you're not going to lose anything, and he'll be able to link through to the benchmarking file, print out a report, and that will tell you where you are against the average for your industry across Australia. So it's all Australian based, it's free. He'll be with you for about an hour and he'll sit down with you. I will also be there as well, going through the numbers and telling you what they mean, what they don't mean. We're not there to steal your accountant work from your accountant that you've existingly got. It's just a benefit for you being a member of Trade Heroes. Okay, so speak to Danielle about that and expect to see something in your email box in the next month. There. Oh, that's it. And don't forget that in a month's time, March, we'll be back here again doing another one of these, and this will be, next month will be on a different topic. Don't know what it is, but
I've got it there.
it's written down. It'll be something just like this sort of format here. That's it. And I'll leave that up there if you want to have a look and find out what this is about. Danielle, thank you very much. Zach, thank you very much. Please network, eat lots of food. Start talking to people in the room and find out where the tradies in this room live, because they might live near you and you might be able to refer them, and more importantly, they might be able to refer you. Thank you very much.